We'll come up with a poll question for hour two. Jermaine O'Neal, former All-Star, is going to join us. Jim Jackson stops by as well. Joining us now is Bret McCormick, Sports Business Journal. He covers stadiums, fan experience, ticketing. He covers it all. And we were thinking about having you on, Bret, because I'm looking at what the what the Browns are doing moving to the suburbs. And I guess it's a dome stadium. But I was wondering, when does a stadium become obsolete in your eyes?
Great question. And thanks for having me. And as a long-suffering Hornets fan, I hope that Con Canuple joins the list you were just talking about. That is the prayer in Charlotte. Yeah, no, this is a topic I'm thinking about a lot right now because you have this cycle of stadiums that are coming up to the put up or shut up question, I guess. These stadiums built between 1995 and 2005, you've got like Jacksonville, Charlotte, Houston, Denver. I mean, there's probably a dozen of them. And it's the kind of the critical juncture of where, architecturally and engineering wise, you look at, should we renovate this or should we build a new stadium? And I don't write about whether these should be financed by who or whether it's a good investment or what, but that is about the lifespan is 20 to 25 years. You're really studying, should we build a new stadium in a different location, or should we renovate what we've got? And you've got all of the above going on right now, and a lot of those decisions are dictated by location. Is it in a urban area, or is it developable around it, or whatever?
That's what I understand the Browns if you want to do a dome stadium. I get that. But where that's located is great, in my opinion. Having been there, and it feels like you could develop around that, I guess, if you want. I've been to Foxborough, where the Patriots play. I mean, they try to set up something there, like, hey, come out to Foxborough. Well, you go to Foxborough to see the Patriots. You're not going to go to, Dave and Buster's there or Applebee's, bring the kids and let's go 20 miles or something. The Bears are moving out of downtown as well. Is that a dome stadium as well?
That's a good question. I haven't seen the design yet, but so what they're looking for is space. So I think with the Cleveland waterfront, I think there is an issue that it's difficult to develop down there because of some roads and the way it's set up. But you would think that in both cases, Chicago and Cleveland, that the waterfront would be difficult to beat. But I think what they're looking for is space. And it kind of speaks to one of the trends that's happening in sports venue design right now, more with other sports, especially baseball, where you've got people coming to 80 games. It's a little different with the NFL, but what they're trying to do is set up a stadium as a hub of a district where, again, you have people living, working, and playing, and that's what they're looking for is space. And so it is kind of when I talk about location, the location for certain teams can be in an urban setting downtown in the midst of everything, and for other teams they may need space. If you kind of think about the Braves. Atlanta Braves kind of started this second round of mixed use development. They left a downtown in Atlanta and moved out to the suburbs and created their own Stepford Wives Village or Potemkin Village of Braves baseball. Teams have seen that. And the thing with mixed use development is it's appealing to sports teams because they don't have to share it. It's not in the revenue sharing. So this is money that they keep. And so that has been a big impetus for doing this kind of development.
And you're talking about the Bears, the Commanders, Carolina Panthers, the Jaguars, Calgary Flames, renovation there for the Saddle Dome. The Royals and White Sox might be on the list there of doing the same thing. It feels like, even when you look at the Dallas Mavericks, where Mark Cuban said, I'm not a real estate guy, and I'm going to sell it to real estate people, and then tried to develop around the stadium and then bring in a casino. Is that the blueprint for what we should expect with all, even Wrigley? Wrigley's got its own sports book there.
Yeah, and it's it kind of speaks to, and you watch the costs of these are like skyrocketing, and it's part of it is because more is expected of venues now. You used to have a lower bowl, upper deck, maybe some suites. And that has really shifted. I mean, you've got all kinds of seating products and different types of areas you can stand, and there's different technologies that allow you to buy beer faster and more often. And so, from that standpoint, the experience has changed a bit. what people expect. Like how you get in is often easier than it used to be. And so, yeah, and so I think what they have always thought about is you get people to come early and you get people to stay later. And again, that's the money that you're generating that you don't have to share with the other 30, 31 owners. And that's become highly appealing as, this whole thing has become more competitive. I think more of the sports ownership groups are looking at these as businesses and less of like a cool, status play thing that I'm going to hand off to my kids. Um, and so you're seeing like a lot of new ownership groups that are coming in with very different ideas. Josh Harris with the Commanders and like the Walton family with Denver, which is going to be added to this list. I think they've got a project that is brewing out there. So, kind of different ownership groups bringing different ideas. And then just the changes that have happened with the fan experience over like 20 to 30 years are really influencing these designs.
Yeah, I go back to Camden Yards because they moved it back into the city, and you had the waterfront there, a beautiful stadium. You had the warehouse there. Uh, Great fan, but I don't know, is that becoming obsolete? Camden Yards. That are they going to want to do something different?
I don't think it's obsolete, but I think you could see more around it. So if you think about what's across the parking lot is M&T Bank Stadium, which is another one of these where the Ravens play that's getting renovated. You've got like this massive parking lot in between that. And so if I'm a parking lot, I'm like, you're in the crosshairs because it's the lowest, it's the lowest possible use of land is to park on it. And so, and if you think about with Camden Yards and M&T Bank Stadium, there's a train that runs right by it. So if you can get people to use the train, you can use that parking lot for something else. I would watch City Field with this. You've got a highly aggressive owner who's very he's got some change, and they've got probably one of the best public transit setups in the U.S. for sports venues, and he's trying to build a casino and basically develop those parking lots. So I think the Camden Yards thing is the aesthetic and like the vibes there are probably more popular than ever, but you just got to have something beyond it now. It kind of the stadium itself sort of bleeds into this next level, this next layer.
What is the least modern stadium or the worst stadium?
Great question. So I would say so we were just talking about Camden Yards. Camden Yards kind of sparked this like revival of I don't know the architectural term, but maybe like neoclassical or something like that. The one that was built right before that was, I think it's now called Rate Field, where the White Sox play, and this is the last stadium before all the cool stadiums, basically. And so that's widely agreed as one of the just it has like no personality. There's not much there.
Wasn't that cellular? Wasn't it
Yeah,
U.S. Cellular?
it was guaranteed rate U.S. Cellular. Yeah,
I was there.
Even the names.
Yeah, I was
even the
there
names
for the
speak to
last
how
game at Comiskey, and one of the first ones at the Cell. I remember that,
So, yeah.
I think charm is the word you're probably like. We want something that has a little charm to it, a little
Right.
nostalgia as well. But what is the best stadium in America?
Oof, great question.
Like
And actually,
modern
let me
stadium.
add let me add one more to the worst ones. Is everybody's excited to see what happens with RFK because I think FedEx Field might or North whatever it's called now, Northwest Mutual something, Northwest Stadium is widely agreed is probably the worst stadium in U.S. sports. I mean, the location, it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around it. You literally had sewage fall on people, railings fall over, they got sued. So I think everybody is stoked to see what happens with them and potentially RFK. The best stadium. This is a great question. And it's probably like a bit objective. It kind of depends. Sport to sport, it's going to be different. But I think I really love the mid city kind of older style ballparks. I think everybody does. Um, I would even say the Pittsburgh Pirates have a pretty strong case, which has always cracked me up because if you had promotion and relegation in Major League Baseball, they'd probably be a single A team by now. But because they don't get relegated, they've invested in their ballpark and it's beautiful. The Camden Yards is definitely up there. I mean, they're about to do a major renovation on it, which will modernize it. But I don't think they're going to touch any of the kind of mystique of it. I don't overly love Fenway and Wrigley because they're really really old. Like so they are very cramped and and in terms of somebody who visits stadiums, it's not like it's not a great time. Um, yeah, that's a good question though. I really like Pittsburgh. I think it's a great ballpark.
Brett, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for having me.
All right, Brett McCormick, Sports Business Journal. Yeah, you start to look at these stadiums. I mean, it's incredible the number of stadiums that are being built or renovated. And you go back to what Stan Kroenke did in Los Angeles, even with the Golden State Warriors. Like, you want to have something, and then you want apartments around it. You want to have things around it. And it helps when you have a basketball or a baseball team, certainly a baseball team. So you get 81 days there. Maybe you get the postseason in there. But then the other days, you want to be able to get concerts in there. You want events in there. If you're got an NFL stadium, that's where I understand that you're going to want a dome. And if Cleveland wants to move out, although I love that location, can't you put a dome on that stadium? And I think most financial experts will say the people who benefit from this are the owners. It's not like cities do. The real estate people and the owners usually do well with this. It's like, hey, this is going to provide jobs. This is going to mean, and this is. And I'm like, okay. Okay.
So what we're going to do is take this teams out of the city and then build a new stadium to build a city around the new stadium that we took out of the city.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go to the suburbs where I go, hey, come on, kids, we're going to the suburbs. That you're going to go out there to a restaurant in the suburbs if you live 20 miles away.
They're typically not, Michelin star restaurants that they put around these things.
Yeah. Hey, Gordon Ramsay opened up a new, restaurant here. Let's go, kids.
Yeah, it's called a Plebes. Oh.
All right, we'll get to phone calls coming up. Just getting started, hour two. Jermaine O'Neal, former NBA player, will join us. And your phone calls as well. We'll take a break. We're back after this.